I'm getting ready to head out for a meeting here in a few minutes, but I just wanted to, oh dear, the hose is accidentally already on. Hold on. Okay, not ideal. Just watered the chicken coop because the little latch in the hose was pulled down when you want it to stay on without holding the lever. So I did the beehives today, which I intended to include you on, but that didn't happen because we kind of got out of our routine. I had somebody, actually one of our older neighbors, come over and help with Kennedy, and so that was super relaxing for me, and it actually probably would have been a great day to shoot a video. But I got in the first hive. I'll show you here. I put a second box on because they were, the rule of thumb is when it's 80% full, you can add another box. The second hive, they look like they're struggling, but there is a ton of bees in it. So I think it's just like they've been without a queen for a couple of weeks now. I did see a full, like, enclosed supersedure cell. So I don't know if there's a queen in there right now that they did hatch and she's not doing well, or if there's not yet a queen in there. There was some young brood, and I couldn't tell if it was young enough to be from a new queen or if it was possibly left like as egg or larva from the last queen. And so now it's just, it looks still young in comparison. I couldn't quite tell. And then the third hive has 3 boxes on it. I was tempted to add a second one today. I mean a fourth one, sorry. But I decided not to. I'm going to give them one, maybe even not a whole week. I got the frames cleaned that I wanted to put in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and put that in the freezer just because it's been saved over winter. And so if there's like any weird like spider eggs or something, like, I didn't protect them well this winter, and I'm feeling like that's something I want to do a better job at next year. And so they still have work to do, and last year I added boxes too quickly, and so they were leaving blank frames or like patchy frames. So when I went to go collect honey, it was just super patchy, and then I would find a frame that had, you know, half of a frame or one side or half of one side. Like, it was just a mess. And so I'm gonna try to not freak out so much and not add boxes so soon this year, and really make them like work the frames they have, and maybe even rearrange the frames more to encourage them to work it. So I did not add another box today. I did find a lot of like started swarm cells, but I mean, there was nothing in them. There was no larva or anything in them. So, and I did squish all of them, which I'm thinking maybe wasn't the best idea, because I could have moved a frame to that queenless box, and then they would just continue to raise that cell, and they would have a true queen. Whereas right now, I'm like questioning if that supersedure cell is a true queen, or if it is a queen laid by a worker bee, which will just be an inferior queen, and I would probably want to requeen it anyways. So anyways, it's just all a learning process, and like there's always something, there's just pros and cons to all of it and different ways to do it. So I'm afraid that if I left a queen cell in the hive that's doing really well, and I let them lay an egg and start to raise it, I'm afraid that they would truly swarm. So that makes me a little bit nervous to let them get too far on a queen cell. But Okay, so what else? I spent a lot of time out here last night transplanting some of the sunflowers, which you can see are not doing so hot. Last year I transplanted sunflowers like probably about this stage, and some of them picked back up and some of them don't, but I don't know. The thing was I had to pull them up anyways, and so at least I try, or like it's what it is. If they're going to be wasted anyways if I don't try. So I tried. Okay, I'm just being like super careful about this cottage garden and making sure it gets watered every night because everything is so young, and I historically let seedlings die because I don't water them every day, and that's like, I would be really sad if that happened. So this is my very faithful attempt. I literally came out here, I had already went to bed, and I realized at like 10 o'clock last night that I had not watered this garden, and so I came out here just for this and watered it. So in one way I expect nothing to grow, and in one way I'm like so excited for all the things that will grow. And it's so funny because I always plant seeds and then like I'm surprised when they sprout. Like, what did you think was going to happen? The whole reason you planted them was so that they would sprout and grow. But yeah, I am happier like knowing. I'll show you where I planted the, actually I'm going to leave this on here for a sec. Okay, I'm just going to let that fill up. That's our, okay, I'm going to let that fill up. That's the rice patty. Okay, let's see. I'm going to show you the pumpkin stuff I did. So this is where I had to pull a bunch of sunflowers out of on this side. I did look up like what grows well together, and sunflowers and pumpkins are a good, they go together well. I was actually looking up if you could grow peppers with pumpkins because I had so many extra pepper plants that I wasn't sure where I was going to put them. And they're kind of young, and I don't actually know if they're going to get enough sunlight over here. But I, again, thought like they're going to go to waste if I don't get them in the ground. So let's see what happens. So I did not do this last year, and we had so many volunteers. It was hard to know what were the pumpkins I wanted and what were the ones that were volunteering from last year. And those were like some really crazy crosses that I wasn't even sure if I like what to do with, or like how to eat or whatever. So I specifically staked like, and then I kind of had these little holes, which is already a little covered up, but like this, of like that's where that pumpkin should come out, and if there's anything around that, like I can pull it up. Because the other thing was, like, if I was pulling up stuff last year and I didn't actually know, like maybe I was actually pulling up the one thing I planted and that I actually wanted. So we'll just see. I think this is cilantro. No, not cilantro. Parsley, I think. I knew there was something in here, but, and this is going to seed, so we'll see. Very beautiful. Okay, so I did like this staggered pumpkin and peppers. Okay, our water's going up over here. So this is just supposed to be like, well, 2 to 3 inches, which, it fills up on one side quicker than the other side, because obviously I don't have a level. So that's okay. I'm gonna, kind of water. Those are zinnias. Those I started from seed. I think from my neighbor's garden last year, actually. I'm gonna, okay. These are all babies, and these just got trimmed. I did like deep water all this last night, but okay. Really amazing what a difference putting a layer of hay over the dirt makes for it not drying out so quickly. So that was something I did last night too, was just like was just feeling like overwhelmed by, like, I want the things that I want to grow this year. Last year, I definitely let like a lot of volunteers and things grow more than like at the end of the season. I had a really great life lesson that when you don't pick the things you don't want, then you don't get the things you do want. And so that was a really hard lesson for me, but I think it was such a valuable life lesson as well, of like, when we fill our time with things that we don't necessarily not want, but it's not the thing we really, really wanted, our time will get filled up and we will miss out on, the specialty varieties of pumpkins. Like, we will miss out on the things that we really wanted because we let these other things that were going to be pretty and we like them grow, but it really cost us the most valuable thing. And I'm glad I learned that in my garden, not, some other more valuable, like, I don't know, costly experience, but it's definitely a lesson that I took away last year that I really want to be intentional and careful with. Making space for the things I specifically want to grow, which is hard in such a small space. Like, there's so many things I want to grow. Okay, I just hooked that hose up to the berry patch, and I'm going to go ahead and water that while I go to this meeting. Come back and turn it off, and if I'm ambitious, I'll water the front again tonight. We shall see how far I get. So, yeah, I think that all started from the hay. Putting down the hay is like, this is the border, this is the berry, like, this is what's supposed to be here. So covering things up, pulling out the weeds, covering it with hay, and then just having, like, this is what's supposed to be here. And highlighting those plants, protecting them a little bit, and then feeling the freedom to pull the things that are not what I am specifically growing. So I hope you'll see me in my bee suit soon, and we can share some bee experiences. I just realized something. These hoses are no longer connected. Alright. Thanks for hanging out, and I look forward to growing together more soon.